Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is Osama Sayyid from islamafterahmadiyya.com. This is another Bites of Truth episode. It's going to be quite short, this episode, and it is a very interesting one and a very shocking one. And we, from our experience of telling or reading this out to Ahmadis, it's going to be a shocking one for Ahmadis actually. And what we have here today is a quote. We have a quote that obviously is originally Urdu, but we've got to have it translated into English. You'll see the Urdu on screen, so you can read that if you want to read that. The quote is from Mirza Bashir, the second leader of Ahmadiyya, the son of Mirza Ghulam. And this is from Khutbat Mahmud, volume 3, 15th of December 1937, page 448. Now I'll begin with the quote. According to Islam, one may have nikah with a Hindu or Jewish girl, although this is not the tradition nowadays. Now if a Muslim man marries a Hindu girl or a Jewish girl, then other Muslims would place a fatwa of kufr on him. But Islam gives permission for such a nikah, and in this way relations are broadened. How nice would it be for a person to be called a grandson pota by a Muslim who would give his life and love the child, and on the other side for a Hindu to call him a grandson and give his life for him and love him. By adopting this way, religious differences would be removed. That's the end of the quote. Now, of course, you don't even need me to explain anything, but I'm going to spend a minute just to just digest this with you, really. Now, we know as Muslims are not allowed to marry mushriks. Hindus are mushriks. So Mirza Bashir has given permission to Ahmadis to marry mushriks, to go completely against Islam. Now Mirza Bashir has gone and said something that is so shocking that most Ahmadis have never even heard of this. Ahmadis who are in the 60s, 70s, they've never heard of it. They can't believe it. They think that Muslims cannot marry mushriks. You know, we respect all human beings, but the fact is, if you're of a mushrik religion, a Muslim cannot marry you. Muslim can marry Jewish people, a Jewish woman, a Muslim man can marry a Jewish woman, can marry a Christian woman. But we cannot marry mushriks. And this is not because the human being is filthy, it's because the faith is so far-fetched and it's so against the monotheism of Islam that you cannot do it. It's bound to cause problems for Muslim people if they marry a Hindu, and that's just touching on the surface. So once again, Mirza Bashir, the second leader of Ahmadiyya, the son of Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian, has stated previously that a Muslim can marry a mushrik being a Hindu. So just, I want you Ahmadis and normal Muslims to know this, and normal Muslims should know this as well, because if you want to speak to an Ahmadi, just to do tabligh to an Ahmadi, to announce to them that, listen, I don't think you're aware that you're actually not following true Islam, and this is one example from one of your big leaders, and he's the son of your founder. He's actually saying that it's something totally against Islam, and it's actually very shocking, and nobody would actually believe it. But you'd have to have that ready. It's very helpful, and it will help an Ahmadi to realize the truth of their faith, that actually it's not true Islam, and it's actually nonsense. And if they want real Islam, they have to leave Ahmadiyya and just be a normal Muslim, remove the pollution of Ahmadiyya from their life. So that's the end of the video. It's a very short video. Just to remind you again of what Mirza Bashir was, or who he was supposedly the promised reformer. So is this how he reforms Islam? To come and tell you that you can marry a mushrik? The promised reformer. Muslih Ma'ud, right? That's what they call him. He came, and one of his amazing things for him to say is to tell you that you can marry a mushrik. Something that is so solidly known by Muslims, it's solid steel. You do not marry a mushrik. So he's come to try to change that. So once again, when Ahmadis try and say we haven't changed anything in Islam, we don't bring any Sharia, we don't change anything, well, that's an attempt at changing a fundamental thing of Islam. So that brings us to the end of the video. This is Osama Sayyid from Islam After Ahmadiyya saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.